Howdy, howdy. Welcome to Creation Outdoors if you're new to the channel, and welcome back if you're not. Today we are talking Total Archery Challenge. So it's getting to be that time of year. They're announcing dates for the Total Archery Challenge events, and registration will be here before you know it. So I thought it'd be fun to talk through some of the events that I've gone to in the past and come up with a list and especially rank them so that if you could go to one event, which one would you go to? So that's what's on the docket for today. Let's get going. All right, so Total Archery Challenge. Super fun events. All of the ones that I've been to have been a blast. I've shot with friends, I've shot with strangers, and I've shot quite a few of them with my wife, Olivia. So she has had a little bit of input on this list as well. So the events that I've been to were in 2020, Snow Basin, which we're not going to talk about today because I don't think that they are going to schedule that again. And Big Sky. In 2021, we shot at Boyne Mountain in Michigan. And then last year in 2022, or this year, we shot 5. And those 5 were Oklahoma, Crystal Mountain in Michigan. We shot in South Dakota. We shot at Sunlight Mountain in Colorado. And we shot Park City, Utah. So, of course, we haven't been to them all, but we've been to quite a few. And so I wanted to rank the ones that I've been to and go through them. And again, if you could pick just one to go to, hopefully this list will help. So we're breaking them down based on the course itself on a scale of 1 to 10, the accommodations in the area, because most people have to travel to these events and stay somewhere. So how hard is it, in my opinion, to find a place to stay? And then number 3 would be the area. So what else is there to do? So if you brought your family, what else is there to do with the family in the area? So again, scale of 1 to 10, maximum possible score of 30. Again, subjective, my opinion, and the opinion of my wife Olivia. And there's obviously some that we haven't been to, especially on the East Coast. But maybe this year we will. We'll have to see. And again, I'm not ranking Snow Basin because I don't think that there's plans to really go back there. Although Snow Basin did have perhaps the best bathrooms of any venue that we've been at, so bonus points there. Okay, let's get to the list. So in last place, or essentially our least favorite, was actually Crystal Mountain in Michigan. So Crystal Mountain in Michigan gets a score of 13 out of 30. So the breakdown there is a score of 3 out of 10 for the course, and then 5 out of 10 for accommodations and the area. So Michigan is where I come from originally, and so we had high hopes for this, but unfortunately it was a little bit of a letdown. So Boyne Mountain is where originally the TAC events are held, but last year they shifted to Crystal, I think because Boyne is under construction. So I was glad that they were able to get a Michigan event. I know it's relatively well attended. The vendor village is pretty big there, but I was left a little bit disappointed with Crystal, primarily just because of the course. So it was relatively flat, it was very easy, so if that's what you're about, then there's definitely points there. But in our perspective, it had a feel of kind of a local archery club course. And so I don't mean to say anything negative about TAC, but it just didn't quite live up to the hype. And you know, everybody was shuttling to places, and it just wasn't quite the event that we hoped for. And we had some new timers with us, and I think they had a good time, but nonetheless, I think that it could be a little bit better. And maybe it will this year, because it was the first time in a new venue, so my hopes are that it's improved. But in the lowest ranking on the list is Crystal Mountain in Michigan. So moving up from there, we actually have Boyne Mountain, Michigan. So Boyne Mountain, Michigan has a score of 16 out of 30. So the breakdown there is a 6 out of 10 for the course, and similar to Crystal, a 5 and a 5 for the accommodations in the area. So similar accommodations in area, but the course at Boyne, in our opinion, was significantly better than Crystal. much more elevation. They got the chairlifts going. It was more dynamic and a lot more fun. So in our opinion, Boyne definitely edges out Crystal for the Michigan venues, and my hope is that once Boyne is done with construction, TAC will shift their events back there. Moving up the list, next we have Oklahoma. So Oklahoma's got a score of 19 out of 30. So 6 for the course, which is the same as Boyne, and then 6 for accommodations and 7 for the area. So this was at a neat spot in Oklahoma, my first time in Oklahoma, and the area was really beautiful. So big, huge lake, rolling hills, really quite neat. Not a ton in the direct area. We ended up actually staying at a campground, and the course was all right. Pretty early in the year, not much foliage going on, so it ended up being a little bit monotonous, but shooting next to the lake was pretty cool and something different from some of the more ski-oriented events that we've been to in the past. So Beavers Bend in Oklahoma, pretty good. Edges out the Michigan locations for us, but not quite as good as the next 4 to come, which are the Western locations. So, of the Western locations, we have a big jump here in score, which again, subjective. I really like the Western locations. So with a score of 26 out of 30 is Big Sky, Montana. So Big Sky gets a score of 8 for the course, 8 for accommodations, and then 10 for the area. So the area is awesome, lots to do, fly fishing, horseback riding, mountain biking, all of these things that you can do. Bozeman's not far away, so lots of things to do with the family. There's enough places to stay. Could be a little bit better, and we ended up staying in an Airbnb, which is okay, but because of the limited availability, the prices tend to be a little bit higher. But nonetheless, a great venue overall. Course 8 out of 10. The only way that I think that the course could have been improved from the ones that we shot were they tended to follow a service road most of the way down. And so it would have been nice to maybe be trekking through the woods a little bit more rather than just kind of walking along the service road and shooting either side. But nonetheless, a great course, great views, and overall a great score, 26 out of 30. Moving on from there, next in line is South Dakota. So edges out Big Sky by 1 point for a score of 27 out of 30. South Dakota shot last year with my good friend Sean. We ended up meeting John Dudley on the course, shot 113 yards at his green Sasquatch, which was awesome. Thought I hit the bullseye, but then reality hit and didn't quite get there. But nonetheless, South Dakota was great. The course actually got a 10 out of 10, so I don't think it could have really been improved that much. It was awesome. Accommodations are where it gets a little bit tricky with South Dakota because there isn't too many real nice places to stay super close. The towns are small there in the Black Hills, and so you're gonna have to do a drive regardless. So 7 out of 10 for accommodations, but the area back up to a 10 out of 10. So it's a great area, lots to do in the Black Hills. It's a gorgeous part of the States. Definitely worth going to. It's just you have to be a little bit more on top of things when it comes to a place to stay. But South Dakota, definitely high on the list. So that leaves just 2. So Colorado at Sunlight Mountain and Park City in Utah. And according to my scoring, we have a tie. So I'm going to put Park City in second. Park City gets a 29 out of 30. And the point that it loses is the course. And so this is subjective, but the course that we shot, the Black Rifle course, was by far the most strenuous and difficult of any of the TAC events that we've done. And so again, it's subjective, but we're actually going to take a point away because the hiking in the terrain was very tough, very tough. And my wife Olivia had some input on this too, and she would agree that Park City certainly lives up to the challenge part of Total Archery Challenge. But 29 out of 30. Park City, great, lots of places to stay, lots of places to eat, lots of things in the area to do with the family. You're really close to Salt Lake if you want to do that and make a trip out of it. 29 out of 30, definitely would recommend. The vendor village was by far one of the largest, probably the largest, I would say. It's actually set up into 2 different places. It's pretty epic. That's kind of the home field, home course for Total Archery Challenge, so obviously it's going to be a great one, and it is tied for first. It's tied for first with kind of an unsung one, and that's Sunlight Mountain, Colorado. So Glenwood Springs is close to Sunlight Mountain. That's where we ended up staying at. The course for Colorado got a 10, accommodations a 9, and the area a 10. So just lost a point because you have to stay in Glenwood Springs. There's quite a few places to stay, but again, you're limited kind of to that option. But it's an awesome little town, awesome little mountain town. There's a water park, there's a theme park for the family, there's lots of hiking trails. It's an awesome drive to get there, and the views from the course were spectacular. So pretty high elevation, so you've been warned there, but honestly, it's really, really great. It was a stunning course, a great course to shoot. Perfect balance of hiking and shooting and the challenge versus approachability. The chairlifts there are interesting. We'll leave it at that. Pretty open, speedy, and if you're afraid of heights, I guess it's one of those things, but nonetheless, an awesome course, an awesome venue. So that is the list. So from the top down then, we have Colorado and Park City tied, South Dakota tight behind them, followed closely by Big Sky, and then we have a bit of a gap down to Oklahoma, and then Boyne Mountain in Michigan, and Crystal Mountain in Michigan. So that's my list. Honestly, it's subjective, but if you're gonna go to one, I would try to go to one of the Western shoots. They're pretty awesome, generally challenging. It's just great to be in the mountains shooting your bow. So I'm a little bit partial to that, and that's with Michigan being my home course. So take it for what it's worth. But that's our opinion, that's our ranking. I'd love to hear your rankings below, so put those in the comments. If you have any questions about any of the courses that we've shot, put those in the comments as well. I'll do my best to answer them. Honestly, these Total Archery Challenge events are so much fun. I think everybody should do one. It's a great confidence booster. It's great to force yourself to practice and prepare for the season if you're going to be hunting, or just get into shape, or just hit the range and be more proficient with your bow. So it's pretty much good in every single round. All of the courses that we've shot have been great. We've never really had a significant issue with anything other than registration, so you're gonna have to be on top of it with that. But nonetheless, they're great. I think everybody should do one. So that's my opinion. Is what it is. Try to go to the one of the Western ones, and hopefully we will be able to do some of the ones out east and in the south in the future. So thanks for watching. If you're going to go to one for the first time, we made a video, my wife and I, a few years ago about what to expect. So maybe check that out if you're going to go for the first time. Maybe some helpful insights there about what to expect when you're going to go to these courses. But nonetheless, go to one regardless. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next video.